Hey Rebels, welcome back to my channel. My name is Masako Motsuga and you guys are watching RWS, which is Random with Shades, and moi, am Shades the Rebel. Here we learn, create, and sew. Today, if you're not ready, I'm gonna tell you right now to go get your pen and paper to write down the notes that we're going to be talking about today because we are going to be doing some pattern grading. So let's get into the video.
Hi, I'm Shades, and just like this title sequence that you're watching over here, nothing has order because it's random.
So as I've mentioned, we are going to be doing some pattern grading. We're going to be using the same block that we did yesterday to grade it a size up. And for you to know a little bit more about what grading is, which I did mention in the previous video where we spoke about pattern terminology. Pattern grading is basically the technique or method used to either size up a pattern or size it down. So on yesterday's video, we created a skirt pattern block, and that was a size 34. And today we're going to be sizing it up to a size 36. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Make sure that you have your notes in check, and then we're gonna do this. So let's get into the video. So I must mention that this video has been fast forwarded only for time purposes because it did kind of take a while for me to do this. But with that being said, I hope you guys are able to follow along everything that I'm doing over here. But at the end of this video, you guys will get like proper measurements and a proper picture and a detailed picture so that you guys see what exactly I was doing here. So the first thing that I am doing is tracing out my pattern block. I decided to trace both the front and the back, and I thought I had enough space, but I didn't, and you will see this as time goes on. When tracing your pattern block, you want to make sure that you trace out everything, the points, the dart legs, as well as the hip line. I'm going to start by working at the back pattern block, and the lines that I'm adding right now on both of these pattern blocks are the hip line, which is very important for this. And then I'm just drawing in my dots. Also, when tracing a pattern block, sometimes the corners do kind of turn out rounded, so it's also always good to go back in and make sure that the corners are nice and angled. Then the next thing that you do is mark the points where you will be actually grading your pattern. So these points are called balance points. We did mention what balance points are, and I told you guys it would be better for me to show you guys how to use them than just explaining what it is in the terminology video. So these are the balance points, and these points are the points that are going to help us be able to grade up our patterns. So we're working at the center back corner at the top of the skirt, and we need to move it 3 millimeters up, which, looking at the video as it is like this, it's 3 millimeters to the left. Moving to the back dots, we're going to be moving 3 millimeters up and 6 millimeters to the side, towards the side of the pattern block. But according to this video, we're moving 3 millimeters horizontally to the left and 6 millimeters upwards. So for the continuation of the video, I will be mentioning the directions according to the video and how the pattern is sitting right now. So as you can see on the marks, before moving them, I make my lines, which are my balance lines, and this is what's going to help me be able to move the pattern, the points correctly. So I'm making sure that the lines that I'm using as my balance lines are parallel to the hip line, which is also perpendicular to the center line. The same measurements are going to be used for the second dot, which is 3 millimeters horizontally to the left and 6 millimeters vertically up. I am using a pen for this pattern, but I do suggest that you use a pencil instead of a pen. Couldn't find my pen close by, so decided to use the pen. And using a pencil is going to make your job a lot easier, because if you do make a mistake, you can erase it out. You guys probably can't see this, but using a pen actually smudged some of the areas and it kind of looked untidy. And I like things that look neat, okay? It's gotta be neat unless you're writing something. If you're writing something, it's okay. If it's a bit untidy, I don't care, because people's handwritings are different. So now moving to that side corner of our back pattern block, we're going to be moving 3 millimeters up, 3 millimeters horizontally to the left and 10 millimeters upwards to the side or outwards. So the balance lines are really, really important for you to be able to move your pattern block. This is going to help with accuracy, because the slightest difference when it comes to pattern grading can make the hugest difference when it comes to sewing that garment. So it's really important that you use your balance lines so that your measurements are accurate. And now we're also moving our hip line, which was 10 millimeters upwards. And at our hemline, the corner over there, it was a 5 millimeters outwards and then 10 millimeters upwards. I did make a mistake here, but I quickly corrected it, and you guys will see that. So the 5 millimeters is now on a different direction than the ones we did at the top. When we went at the top, we went horizontally to the left, but when it comes to the hemline, you go horizontally to the right. You go outwards to the right. Remember, we are grading up this pattern block, and when it comes to grading down or sizing down a pattern block, you do the opposite, but you guys will see this in the next videos to come. And now all that's left for me to do is to just join all those dots that I've made, and we're pretty much done with upgrading or upsizing the pattern block. Also, when it comes to the curves, you want to make sure that the curves are also parallel to the previous curve, because we are grading it up. You want the same pattern block, but in a different proportion. That's how you should think of it. It's bigger, but it's still the same. So this is how our back pattern block looks like. And now we're going to go to the front, which I used a different paper because this was not enough. I mean, I didn't trace properly. And had I used a pencil, I would erase it out and trace it again. So here's our front pattern block and we're tracing it. Making sure that you mark everything from the hip line to the dots. And also draw in your dots. So after we have traced, we're going to mark all the important points, which are the balance points. And starting there, we're going to move 3 millimeters outwards, horizontally to the left, and 10 millimeters downwards, according to this video, remember. And also, even here, I'm using my balance points. I will be definitely doing a video of a proper close-up on how to use a balance point correctly, or balance line correctly, because I think for this video you don't get it much, but I hope you can understand it. So basically what I'm doing is just drawing lines that are parallel to the hip line or perpendicular to the center front line. And from there, when it's mentioned that go 3 millimeters outwards to the left, I measure that 3 millimeters and put a small point. And then from that line, I create a line that is going to be perpendicular to that on that point, and then measure out 6 millimeters downwards or upwards, depending on where the direction is. But I'll definitely be showing you guys a better video on how to do this. On our hip line, we had to go 10 millimeters downwards. Our hemline over there, we had to go 5 millimeters horizontally to the right and 10 millimeters downwards. And our hemline by the center front, we go out 5 millimeters to the right. Now the top corner, we had to go 3 millimeters horizontally to the left. So I don't know if you have noticed, but our center front lines remain the same. Nothing changes there. We're only going out from the waistline to the hip, the side, as well as the hemline, but the center remains the same. So this is how it looks like, and this was my front pattern block. Here is how it looks now that I've cut it out and put them together. I also took the liberty to trace them out so that you guys can see exactly what I did without all the mess. I will also be posting a picture right here so that you guys can take a look, take a screenshot if you have to. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and I hope you've learned something new. Until next time, my name is Masakho Guy. You guys were watching RWS, which is Randoms with Shades. See you guys tomorrow.